how we can bring in the right projects, the right deals, and the right founders that can actually make an impact. The whole point of Artemis Privé is also building this ecosystem where we're actually solving problems.
Wasim Aslam is a creative architect and the founder of Artemis Privé. How do you see the role of building an ecosystem like that, and how do you manage the trust and the risk management?
That do attract is people, startups, founders, people with projects, deals that we can actually bring and give them a platform for them to actually connect with generational investors, family offices, having a platform where you're presenting these amazing ideas that are going to leave a legacy. We're looking at tech, innovation, AI, blockchain, fintech. These events are very high impact where there is a lot of luxury, which is private as possible. We've got gatherings at this Palm Beach boat show. There's a selection of F1 races, but each event where a line needs to be about obviously giving back, and we're all about helping others, bringing the right charities into our...
Hello everyone. My team and I have been crafting content and stories that inform, inspire, empower, and bring real value to you. If you haven't already, please take a moment to check that you're subscribed. It's the easiest way to support our work and stay updated with every new release. Join us on this journey of learning and discovery. Hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for our latest drops. Hello and welcome to Dinis Guarda YouTube podcast show, once again in partnership with citiesabc.com and businessabc.net and wisdomia.ai. I'm keeping very excited to bring to this series global leaders and personalities shaping the world, and as well inspiring me, and I think hopefully everyone listening to us, in a lot of ways that we demystify the myths of building businesses, building ecosystems, and especially how we can actually work to take the best out of all the fantastic world we're living with a lot of challenge, but as well a lot of opportunities. So today I'm particularly interested to touch an area that I don't think we touch too much here. That is the idea of ecosystems based on value creation and specific clubs and organizations, which is something very important for me, but I believe that is one area that I want to bring more to our series. So I welcome to our series Wasim Aslam, that is a creative architect and the founder of Artemis Privé. And Wasim has a fantastic profile and biography that touches a lot of different things. He's a British entrepreneur, a brand strategist, an experienced architect with over 15 years of leadership across digital media, design, marketing, and high-level relationship building. He's the CEO of Artemis Privé, an exclusive private members club serving founders, family offices, investors, and global leaders, and as well a club for people who move from the needle. So one of the things I like is the bridge between founders, investors, and family offices and leaders who live at the intersection of capital, culture, and impact, which I think is all my audience, because all of us have to go in this direction. The club offers a lot of fantastic things like VIP experience, bespoke events, luxury retreats, exclusive evening galas, and VIP hospitality. And from as well the work that Wasim is doing, there's a lot of fantastic things like events related gatherings around the Monaco Formula One VIP investor gathering and Miami Formula One, and a lot of different things, just to name a few. Wasim is also the founder of Mission to Reach, a growth and branding consultancy focused on scalable revenue systems, personal branding, and digital experience. Mission to Reach is a solution to market, sell, and deliver products online with agility and effectiveness. And we're going to talk about that. And one of the things as well that is quite interesting in the work of Wasim is the collaboration with elite media organizations such as BBC, Sky, MTV, ESPN, Citigroup, and the Football Association, just to name a few. So Wasim, there's a fantastic profile. That's the tip of the iceberg. It's great to have you here, first of all.
Thank you so much, Dennis, for the kind introduction. Really appreciate it. And I'm grateful to be here. Thanks.
So Wasim, I always like to start by the foundations. So as someone that created this fantastic profile and biography and as well achievement and success, So let's look from the beginnings. What would be your beginnings from someone that inspired you in your beginnings, or someone that made who you are today, or even from your childhood to your education?
Yeah, so I'd go way back. So as a kid, I'd love because I come from a art background, so I used to sketch and draw all the time. I had a skill for that and a passion for drawing things, and then that led me to going through, learning about graphic design. Because I've always wanted to become an architecture or design cars or amazing things. So I love aesthetics. So I went through this transition through college, university, just creating, building things, going into the digital side of, obviously at that time, digital was a big thing. It was like announcing and people coming through, and that made me the interest of pushing forward with media. So that led me to design more, to build more, create things. And I went through working with one of the, obviously some really big companies and advertising agencies that obviously enhanced my skills further. So there's inspiration from others, people that I've met, but also the how the world evolves. So how the world evolves, that you start to create, and your eyes open, your ideas come alive. So I do think there's this transition that's brought me here today to what I'm doing is through just creating. We all create. We're all creators in our own way. So I do feel that that's what inspired me to move forward and make changes to the world.
So, if you go back to your childhood or even adolescence, what would be the people that influenced you more? How did you become this person?
So I had some great teachers. So that from university, that really inspired me because they believed in me. There were people telling me that, hey, we'll see, we think you're going to do something really great. I didn't know this, but sometimes when you get that from others, that sort of inspires you to go forward. So I'd say the academically teachers were great, but also I've had mentors, a couple of mentors on the way through working. I remember it was I never got out there very easily. It was always a struggle. You come out from university and you're like, what do I do? Where do I go? It was not an easy place. But when you go out there, meet people, things come along and opportunities came along for me, and I met some really great mentors as well that kind of guided me and and it's great to have that. Without it, I would probably be a little bit lost. But I think those sort of inspired me to go forward. Yeah.
So fantastic. So then let's look at a bit of your career. So like you said, from a architect and designer and brand specialist. So before you created Artemis, a bit of your experience. How did you start with your career, and a bit of the highlights that you want to share with our audience?
Yeah, so I got some amazing opportunities to work. Obviously, I was living in London, and this great opportunities came through where I was like freelancing with these companies. Some of them, I spent actually 10 years at the BBC, which was huge. It was great. It was a great experience. It is one of the great companies that I've worked with, and because they're great people in there. So I was really inspired to go forward from there, and that gave me the skills to actually lead forward. But I was also working with Sky as well. I'd worked in the broadcasting side of things with news and sports. I was designing brands in advertising agencies as well, working with top, obviously, brand campaigns, which gave me the experience as well. And then when you start working in those companies, those skills start to elevate. You start to enhance your skills further. And you say to yourself sometimes, how did I do that? Some things just come alive. So these companies were great. I spent a good amount of years working as obviously building these campaigns and also enhancing my skill sets because I love building. So the last gig that I had was like probably BBC, which was it was a long period, but it gave me the great skill sets to kind of move and shift into what I really want to pursue my life.
Oh, fantastic. So of course, I'm a creator myself, and I love creative and art direction. So as a creative designer and an art director, and I know that you have a fantastic taste for design and the creator, and of course, being a creative personality working with the BBC, which you are actually a creative designer. So tell us a bit about your passion and the art design, art direction, and some of the things. And of course, for people listening to us, London is one of the capitals of design worldwide. But I would like to hear a bit of your experience on that direction.
Yeah, it's a very good question, Dennis. So, I think I like to see something that is you're telling a story. So obviously, I like building that process of telling a story, and we all have our creatives. Like I said, we all have a vision in our heads. We got visuals running through. So I love building. I love, designing from scratch. I like to build this story that I can tell the world about, hey, this is the thing. This is, we want to create emotions and what we want to create. So I do feel the creative aspect of things is something that you want to build, and you want to build a powerful experience, whether it's a TV show or launch or an investor gathering, for example. So I think the you want to tell a story, but you also want it to look good and also branded, which is very important, very key, because without the creative look, some things would not resonate. And I think storytelling is the prime kind of engine, I think, going through, because that has to make sense in what you've created. Absolutely.
Yeah, fantastic. So now, as the founder of Artemis Privé, and as well, you are as well mission to reach, and as well, you still are the company owner of Creative Lavish Limited. So tell us a bit about your entrepreneurial part. How did you created Artemis? And for people listening to us, what is Artemis?
Yeah, so what kind of led me to Artemis Privé is I wasn't an events person. Like, I wasn't the type of guy to go out there, socialize, go to events. I was more like, when you're a creator or a designer, you tend to just you sit in a place and you just start doing things, which is great. You start to build things, but you're away from people sometimes, and you get used to that. So yes, I was quite intimate in doing that. And there was a part where I was going into events. I started to actually fly into events, and then I found out this is great, but I was meeting so many people. But you meet so many people, you don't know who they are. It's time consuming. It takes forever just to kind of you give your cards and you're hoping people will contact back, and you have to do all of these follow-ups. So that brought me to Artemis Privy. Is like, imagine if I could build a gathering with the right people, small, intimate, and actually raises value into what we're trying to do. So the whole point of Artemis Privy is also building this ecosystem where we're actually solving problems, and people know what they're going in for and what they're going to obviously create and invest into and who they're going to meet. That way, it's just more refined, and it's kind of aligned with what you want to obviously accomplish. So that's kind of what led me to Artemis Brewery, is to actually create these intimate gatherings, because I wasn't able to do that in going to so many different types of events, which I kind of felt lost at times. Yeah, it was difficult.
And for instance, in terms of Artemis, for people that listen to us, so you do multiple parts. There's network, there's VIP events, like I mentioned before. There's big international, I would say, experiences. There's a lot of different things. Give us a bit of a touch how
Yeah.
it works and how people can get in.
Yeah. Also, this is also part of me. So when we're building things, sometimes it's like it's come from who I am. So I love adventures. I love going out there. I love cultures. I love traveling. I've probably been to, like, in the last 5 years, I've been to like 60 odd countries. I've traveled a lot, and I love that. And I bring that into what I'm doing with this club as well. And I want people to obviously not just to come into networking events, but also have this experience that they'll never forget, because the experience creates the connections, but also it gives you these amazing memories. If you look back at what you're doing in life, the memories, just it's the times that you have with your families, your friends, the travel. You're not going to remember stuff that you do at work and all of this, you know, the work that we do. Is the memories that we create with the people that we love. And this is the core of Artemis Privy, is these experiences we're obviously trying to build and create memories, create connections, and you're building. And also you're having the right connections where you're either getting investments, you're making changes to the world, there's impact. So that's the core things that I really wanted to actually bring into this Artemis Privé. Sorry, Dan, but what's the other question that you had with
Yeah,
that?
you touched most of this, but more in terms of how you look at different things. For instance, you mentioned investing, networking, experiences. How you look at this, and this, for instance, is a member that people have to sign. They just invited. How you build this ecosystem? You touched the importance of
So
ecosystem.
yeah, so I've how I did this initially was I made connections. So I brought in people that I know who they are, they're vetted, and I then started to invite them into smaller events, and then we just grew from there. And then obviously you bring someone, they refer someone, they all come in, and that was for me doing no marketing. It's just being out there, which is really helpful when you know people. But that obviously created this kind of shift of bringing people in, and then I started to kind of go from there. I have a members portal now where people can sign up. There's tiers where they can come through. Most of them. Look, I try to make it as private as possible because privacy is very crucial. It's not completely open doors. I want to because it's such an intimate, curated experience. It's got to be private, and I want to keep my members private as well. Having that experience where they know who's who, and also we're all connecting, and we become this very close knit type of group, which is great. And then we know who they are, who's traveling. So it's a lot curated and it's quite private as well, which is the cool thing. But you'd have to apply, obviously, through a website where you can become a member potentially. And yeah, I'm trying to keep it very limited because it's very exclusive. And also these events are obviously very high impact as well. And it's not an everyday thing. I create an experience where there is a lot of luxury, of course. There's a lot of luxury, but it's all down to the experience that we're trying to create, and that's something that I'm bringing in, which is private as possible.
No, I understand. So one of the things I've been studying and is really powerful, is that the experience industry is becoming much bigger. There's more and more interest by people, first of all, not just net worth individuals, but as well entrepreneurs and founders, and that's one of the things that I would like to touch here. So, from your experience, I think for people listening to us, so how did you brought this because you, for instance, you create a fantastic reputation as a motion graphic designer and digital artist, but then you shift to become as well an entrepreneur. So I would like to touch that and as well how the experiences can, and I'm sure they touch part of your shift.
Yeah, I think as a deep, sometimes when you go inner deep into yourself, you begin to see things, you begin to feel things. So for me, it was more of like, I want changes into the world, so I want to make impact. So I see things that are happening. I'm like, I can make changes, I can do something. And with this private members club, I can get the right people in together and also start to make changes, bring in capital, bring in the right projects, bring in deal flows where they can make impact into these places. So that's kind of what really drew me in. It's like I can make changes and I can get the right people to do that. And these environments are very important as well. And so yeah, and also the experience side of things is something that's very important to me. I come from I love, for example, Formula One racing. I do sailboats. That I'm bringing into the club so I can actually give that experience to the members who've maybe haven't done sailing before or would like to have a race or would go to watch Formula One, and at these events you get the ultra high net worths, you get the right people, you get the right audience, you get the right connections, you could even get the right deals, and those deals can be done at those events. That's the difference. Because this is why I create them, because partly I love them. I love racing. I love the adventure styles. But I like to also bring that into the events and the gatherings, which curate this. It builds this trust, which I think is very important because sailing builds trust. When you take anyone out to sail, it's a very sort of intimate. You've got to have a lot of trust into your members and team. So I do feel that bringing that into this environment is extremely important. Yeah.
So let's touch the experience part of this and as well how you put together the different founders, the different people. So how do you coordinate this? Because of course, one of the things I've been learning about ecosystems is how you put people that are, and people are all different. You have people that have this kind of personalities, you have others, and as well, you have to understand as well how to avoid the kind of emotional intelligence issues and complications. If you could highlight a bit about that, how you build that glue and nucleus of a club like that.
Very great question, actually, Dennis. So what I do is I look at each event. So far in this 2026, there's probably about 10 to 12, 10 to 15 potentially events, and each one is different. So the next one we have is Palm Beach Boat Show. So what we're doing with that is I'm bringing in, is the key focus is the blue economy. So we all know with AI innovation and ocean, it's a huge thing because look, we live in a wet planet, right? There's so much water in oceans. The technologies is what we need to bring in to curate that. So for that particular event, we're focusing on the AI, ocean, marine inventions, innovations. We're bringing that all these projects and deals into that event because we number one we want to raise awareness of what's happening, right? Sea levels rising, bad water, how do we fix those problems? So we bring in particular projects just for that event. So again, the focus is blue economy. And then the other events we're looking at, obviously in Formula One, we're looking at tech innovation, AI. We are looking at also blockchain as well, and fintech. So it's just every event is sort of curated depending on where we are. So, for example, if it's something in Singapore, we'll focus more on the tech side of things because that's obviously where things are happening. And sometimes when you go to in a country in a certain time of the year, there's all these events that happen which are curated around the same theme or the same vertical. So that's where I drive the events around there. So obviously you find the right people in there. Usually in the members club and in our community, we don't have everyone that attends every event through the year. There's going to be a selection of obviously people and members that will be in selected events, and that's where I curate them. So individually, I know this person is into, for example, AI innovation. I can bring them into this event and can invite them. So that's how I kind of curate this very specifically on who people are and what value they could bring to the event. So yeah, and it's not a huge. We're not bringing 100 people or two, 300. We're trying to keep it very curated, and that's going to obviously make more impact. Yeah.
No, fantastic. So, I want to touch a lot of what you mentioned, and this is actually a research I've been doing because I'm very focused on the ecosystem economy and how we put this together. So, just and a couple of numbers that I would like to share with you and give your opinion, and as well what you learned from this. So, for people listening to us, and this is part of my research, the experience economy is a massive multi-trillion dollars global market, and the estimates placing it at value around 13.7 trillion, which is around more than 10% of the world economy. And this is larger than the pharmaceutical industry and projecting growth towards 12 trillion to 13 trillion in 2028 through figures that vary. And this brings a lot of different areas. So I would like to touch this because it's a big business. And for instance, if you look, Dubai became probably one of the hubs and capitals of the world economy and experience economy, let's put it that way. But one of the things I've been learning as an entrepreneur is the importance of getting the right ecosystem. Because like you mentioned, in the right ecosystem, you can find mentors, you can find investors, you can find as well just friends and sharing your challenges and troubling. So I would like to touch this because that's effectively a massive growth in terms of the experience economy, but as well, there's a lot of key drivers and organizations like yours. For instance, you touch some of these things, but there's the well-being and the happiness. There's as well the digital and physical integration, the demand for authenticity because you need to make sure that the experiences are real. And in your case, of course, working with the likes of Formula One and big global events and organizations, there's a lot of different things that mostly touch travel, tourism, entertainment, of course, food and dining, cultural attractions, and of course, a lot of focus in investment. So I'd like to touch this, and it's quite important for me as well. If my audience, I think it's the same because everyone likes to be part of this.
Yeah, no, great question, Dennis. So you're right, this economy like is shifting. I mean, pre-COVID, I mean it's like things have really shifted in terms of actually people meeting. Yes, there's less stuff on Zoom now. I mean, I kind of feel that from these past years, but things have actually grown. People want these experiences. People want to go out there because maybe that's what they were missing, but obviously pre-COVID, right? So I do feel there's a big shift in this, and people are spending money. They want to go out there. They want to build things, but also the health and wellness is a very important aspect as well. I do retreats as well. So another thing is I do retreats are very important because our members do want that. They want to feel great. They want to have good health. It's not just about, spending money and going out and doing adventures. It's also about having that, aspect of health and wellness. And that's something that I'm very passionate about because I do feel that's very important. And the world is also shifting into this kind of retreat type of thing, and people are maybe taking more kind of interests into, for example, yoga. I know yoga is huge, but there's also the biohacking. There's also this AI that's involved into health and wellness now that I think is a huge interest. And some of our partners have these amazing. Again, this could be a great topic for next time. Is talking about these specific tech that's changing the world in health. Things are moving fast along, where we're already looking at robots that are could be essential to our living in our homes and helping and the society. That's kind of you'll see things shift so quickly in these next, I don't know, in these next couple of years. If I looked back at 3 or 4 years, I didn't never think AI would be this evolved. So I do think there's been a huge shift, and hence why the members club, it's something where I'm building that ecosystem, and people need to obviously know about this. People obviously need to have more awareness, that you can actually drive the right people in to make changes. So there's also this shift in wealth, investment, and influence. I do think that's a major impact, and also it's part of building that legacy going forward, being redefined. I think it's very important. And these circles that we're building is key to making these changes and also bringing all of these experiences together and actually having what people want also is very important because there's no business without the customers, the clients. Those are key, and that's where that service, that customer service is crucial. Is without that, there's not a great business. So the people are very important about this. So yeah.
So I want to touch more on that. So, like you mentioned, there's a lot of elements there, and this industry, of course, there's the numbers, like I mentioned, but there's as well the components how we put people together. So, I would like to, from your experience in terms of hosting this experience from Miami, Formula One to Abu Dhabi, Monaco, Goodwood, tell us about this. How do you normally work this? And I know that, of course, this experience, especially when we have like groups of 20, 50 people. I have actually some experience myself, and they were very rewarding because of the network, what you learn with them. But it can actually be a life changing because you can find someone that can help you on your business, can help you in your personal life. And of course, at the same time, when you are in these groups, there's always a lot of common network of wealth of knowledge that is shared together. So I would like to touch this if you could share a bit about that.
Yeah, yeah. So great question. So, well, these events, I tend to just find the right connections first. The connections that we already have, but also in our groups, I try to create awareness into people that maybe have an interest in certain events, and also things that they projects. So one of the great things I do attract is people, startups, founders, people with projects, deals that we can actually bring and give them a platform for them to actually connect with generational investors, family offices. We want them to actually have this platform to extend, to also connect with others. I tend to have already a group of people in my network, like subscribers. I've got subscribers where I tend to actually learn more about them. I vet them. I understand what their needs are and see if they could actually, look if they are very interested in obviously making an impact. That's kind of exactly what I want to do. Is I tend to look at these people that have applied. get them in there and see where we can fit them in. So if there's someone with a startup project that, for example, is about clean water, they have a tech, then we're obviously, hey, you'd be perfect for this Palm Beach gathering. We'd love you to have a platform where you can actually announce your projects to our family offices and generational investors. So that's the key thing. So it's also looking at how we can bring in the right projects, the right deals, and the right founders that can actually make an impact because they're all about these gatherings, and this is where we start connecting people together, which is it's a bit of work. I get that. It's not just you just you have people in your pool, in your group, and then you just bring all of them into an event. That's not the way to align things. So we actually strategically we go through positioning, aligning people together to make sure that, hey, this event will be successful. This event, you're guaranteed to get something out of it. And also you're in front of the right, people actually making changes to the world. So yeah.
And from your experience, so I don't know if you want to, of course, whatever you can show. One of the things I like about this is definitely the way you can put people together and get a mix of founders, family offices, and investors, and as well entrepreneurs and different people that and experts as well. So, from this experience and from this mix of people, what you would say that from Artemis Private, what are the highlights that you would say for people that potentially are interested to involve, but as well for people from your experience that you would like to share with our audience?
Well, I think it's we've had some great connections. So we've built some really we've I've networked before where I've actually brought in great people, great connections, and this is where it evolved into aligning those family offices and generational investors into these events. So the infrastructure, the future of energy, oceans, logistics, and the circles that we build is very important. And I think that is where we actually define capital as well, coming through with all of these projects, and we just start to align these in different events. But also we have such a close relationship with our investors and also family offices because we've built that relationship with them. So this is the most important aspect is that relationship that we already have with them, where it actually we start to align those connections and others that need obviously to have a platform to show their projects and businesses. That's where we just start to align and position our members to these family offices and also generational investors as well. Yeah.
So picking on that, and I know that you work with high net wealth individuals and circles. What are the big shifts you saw in wealth, investment, and influence? So we feel that at the moment, I know that at the moment, of course, we are in a lot of sensibilities of geopolitics, and the network and the ecosystem becomes more rare and actually more important than ever. A bit of input on that.
Yeah, very great question. I think one of the biggest impacts that we're going to see is building. Obviously, AI is a huge element into the upcoming future, obviously projects and things. But however, it's also building that infrastructure. For example, smart cities. Where with these past events that we've done, one of the biggest interests have been obviously making an impact in agriculture. Obviously using tech, but also building that tech into, how can we use that in everyday life with, for example, health, wellness. There's also the smart cities that I've mentioned before. I think that's going to be a huge player in this coming future as well. And that's the projects people are building. There's a lot of things going on in the background, but also we'd like to bring this at the events as well to give some more awareness on what's been invested, who wants to raise capital on a certain vertical. So we're actually bringing in the right kind of projects in, but also the impact that we're seeing is more on the the economy. Obviously, the economy, how to sustainability is also a huge thing, and also climate does come into it as well. But I think building these ecosystems, and also the sustainability aspect of things are making a huge impact already. So that's been a huge interest at these events that we've spoken to different family offices and generation investors.
That is a very important thing. I believe that everyone listening to us is very important. So, in terms of the experience, and I coming back to the way you work, how do you see the role of the trust on building an ecosystem like that? And I would like to one, I know that is a more sensitive question, but how do you manage the trust and the risk management? Because one of the challenges that I've been having, of course, sometimes you have people that are more toxic, people that are less toxic. And when we are in these events, you want to have a good time and avoid these things. But at the same time, it's quite complex because when you deal with the agendas of a lot of people, and one of the things that you touched, the coaching and the well-being experience, I think it's one thing that people underestimate how important this is. Because of course we have all this technology and AI in particular is opening so much opportunities, but at the same time is putting a lot of people divided, a lot of people confused. So how do you bring this to keep this influence and this ecosystem together?
So I believe that trust is more of a product that we have. It's not just a added value. So without trust, our private ecosystem is just an expensive event calendar. Obviously, we don't want that. So where the privacy is also very important. Trust is also built in in the creation that we do, the creation, the environments that we build, and the long-term relationships building rather than transactional infrastructure. So we these three elements are very crucial into building trust. But we also want to protect that trust. I think protecting that trust is very important. That means saying no more than yes. I think that's very important. And that's just aligning the right people, the right partners, the right sponsors. I think that's very, very crucial, which is important to all our guests and members. And also clear boundaries are very important. Confidential conversations that need to stay off social media. We try not to have too many cameras and phones in the event. So that I do feel that's crucially important because it's all about privacy and trust. When our members see that, they tend to attend and they like that as well. So it's not all about being completely open and things that actually don't go the right way because actually you lose that value in the trust in the company as well. So that's the kind of the environment I do really want to build. So yeah, I think the trust is completely important, and we apply that for all our events, making sure that things are private, curated, and others know each other, which is really crucial because not just know each other, but they know who they're going to expect there. So that's, I think that's a very important aspect. So they know their crowd, they know their people, the right frequency, the right environment. I think the energies are very important into these events. So if you bring in something that doesn't align with the energies of who we have at the event, then things just don't obviously they don't obviously, you know, don't combine. Yeah.
That's crucial, and there is a very sensitive line where you put the physical and the digital, and how you create this trust, and that's one of the things that I'm very obsessed as well. So thank you for that. So, 2026 is going to be a quite challenge, but as well a lot of opportunity here. There's all the challenge with technology and innovation and disruption, but at the same time, big events, big hype around both. Boats and Singapore F1 and a lot of different things. So how do you see your short, medium, long term of the strategy of Artemis and how you want to bring it international as you keep this ecosystem growing?
Yeah, so great question. Thanks, Dennis. So I did mention a bit more earlier on the questions with what's happening in the upcoming events. I'll give you a sneak preview. So looking ahead, we've got gatherings at this Palm Beach boat show. We've got this selection of F1 races, but also there's actually a very important race that's happening in the UK. It's called Cows Week. It's a 200-year anniversary. That brings a lot of spectators. It's a very historic race from down south to Isle of Wight. And we're really looking forward to actually being part of that and not bringing others to that as well because it's a race, but it's also a fun race. We're also going to bring a charity aspect because we, as a club, and also myself, we're very philanthropic. Obviously, we want to help others. We want to each event we're aligning needs to be about obviously giving back, and we're all about helping others bringing the right charities into our events that kind of align together. So I will go deeper into that, and obviously people will see that in our upcoming newsletters on what we're working on, who our partners are, which is very crucial and very important. But from a calendar experiences, it's a building that operating system with leaders and capital. I think that's very important. We want the right capital in there, but also the right projects and founders that can actually make a difference. And also, we've got things around Miami, Vegas. We're going to do again, and Abu Dhabi, which is amazing. We these places also bring these experiences. So it's not just the event. You're going to experience something that maybe you haven't done before at the country, which is crucial. I mean, the last event I went to in Abu Dhabi. I've never visited Ferrari World and or SeaWorld, but I found that they're one of the amazing places that I probably haven't seen anywhere else. So it was a great experience just to be there. So this also provided as an experience to our guests, but it was something that you wouldn't think of because you think, hey, that's just for family and children. But technically, we actually did a conference at SeaWorld, which was probably one of the amazing immersive experiences we've ever had. So I do think that's another example is that the memory. So I'm just thinking about my memory and the impact of the immersive experience. So we're going to have a lot of these through the year, and I think there's going to be a lot of projects and capital involved because we want to make changes, we want to make impact. So the impact projects are the ones that are actually going to make a difference through this year. And we want to have just the right gatherings, the right vibe, the right experiences, just to make this a truly successful 2026. Yeah.
Fantastic. So, last one and an important one. So, you mentioned a lot of innovations and disruptions around AI, blockchain, smart cities, and how you bring this to your events and these topics, and how you try as well your users to have the fun and these events and all these concepts as well integrated. So, how do you see these areas of technological deep tech and change, and what the impact do you want Artemis Privé to make on the global business and leadership ecosystem and landscape?
So I want people, and also it could be anyone, to remember Artemis Privia as the impact they made, because we'd love to be the first to do everything. That's the dream, and make impact to, for example, things that weren't possible or people were trying. So I think when we remembered as this, for example, from in the future, one of people to look back at the most impactful events and gatherings we did, but also we made changes into the projects deals that we brought in, and I think those family offices and generations would be, you know, they're definitely happy. They'll be thrilled to see an impact in the coming years. It's also about leaving a legacy, but also a legacy that's actually going to change our planet. And I want Artemis Privia to people to remember Artemis Privia, these gatherings that actually made these things happen, made these events and projects and tech that couldn't be done because there's many things out there. There's many projects. There's many startups that are not, they're not getting the right voice. And this is part of the platform we're trying to do is raise that voice for them and make some noise because we live in a very busy environment. There's lots of noise out there, and we all want to get shown, but it's very difficult to get shown these days because digitally it's hard. It's very hard sometimes, and you got to have the right marketing strategy. I do believe in marketing as well, and I think the events is where the impact happens. And I think the number of places that we're going, because we're going around the world, it's not just one place bringing in one type of audience. It's going around the world where we're attracting the right people in those countries. For example, UAE was very important for all of our American investors because that's where the projects and the capital lies. So the investors and the family offices from UAE, we attracted them through these events. So that's a very important aspect. You won't see them traveling all around the world because it just depends on logistics. It depends on who they are. So I do feel that curating these areas will make bigger changes throughout the whole world and impact as well.
I completely with you. So recently you posted on your LinkedIn profile these thoughts about one of your events that are really engaged, and I want to highlight here. Legacy now means health, planet, and people, not just assets. Rooms beat algorithms, and curation is a superpower. Can you elaborate on this? Because I think it's really important for everyone listening to us.
Yes, I do. Legacy, we all want to leave a legacy, and I do believe in that. But these rooms are what creates this. We all have thoughts, we have ideas in our head, and I think the way to actually build that is actually building around these events, bringing that into the events, actually having a platform where you're presenting this amazing ideas that are gonna leave a legacy. So I do believe that's crucially important, and I think over the years it's going to define more as well because we're at the beginning. This is at our beginning stages, and if I look back at the year, I never expected that this was going to happen, and things have just rolled in, and you're like, oh, this is great. So I do believe that the people that we have are going to build a huge legacy in this world in the upcoming future, and the innovations are very crucial. The technologies are very crucial as well, and the impact that we're making is also going to give a big influence into the world. So yeah, I think the rooms, the ecosystem is very crucial, and we're trying to obviously build a a platform where this is all making sense rather than just kind of having a load of people with nothing happening, but aligning these positioning events are very crucial, I think. Yeah.
Fantastic. No, well, there's a lot of more things, but I think I want to respectful being here talking about all the things. So, lastly, but so where people can find more about Artemis Privé, about you, Wasim, and whatever you want to share for people that potentially want to be part of your ecosystem.
Yeah, fantastic. So I have two simple platforms. So obviously you can reach me via LinkedIn. There's artemisprivier.club. That's our main website. There's also our Substack. So if you subscribe on Substack, you should be able to get some amazing daily newsletter. So we do quite a lot of content. So I'd love our audiences to know who we are, what we do, and see where we go from here, and see our upcoming exciting events and experiences. Yeah.
Fantastic. So, well, thank you so much, first of all, for these amazing insights and for congratulations on the work you've been doing with Artemis Privé. And as well, I think the adventures that you propose to a lot of people are very special. And I hope our audience can engage potential on this and find other solutions. So I appreciate for people listening to us, I think take more attention to these things. And well, I wish you all the success for what we're discussing here and continuous understanding how to take this to the next level. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much, Wasim, for having you here.
Likewise. Thank you so much, Dan. I appreciate you bringing me on here. Have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you for watching this episode. Please share your thoughts, questions, or a topic you want next in the comments section. My team and I read them all and will tailor our future videos around your feedback. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the next drop. Until next time, stay healthy and informed.